Good morning, good people. Don't mind me looking like how I'm looking. Yeah. But I was reading Luke 11 today. And I've been reading Luke every day, like a chapter of Luke every day for the month of December. And I ran across the part where Jesus is going back at the religious leaders. And I thought this would be very beneficial and helpful because it actually, like, put emphasis on some of the thoughts that I have been having recently, and as I pay more attention to like who I surround myself with and everything. Some people, and the thought that's been in my head is some people are really good at looking good, but really aren't as good. If you get what I mean. So I can be a fairly transparent person. Like if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. I'm going to come exactly how I am. My heart posture is my heart posture. Still healing through a lot, but my heart posture is, for the most part, I'm a very caring person, but most people wouldn't know that because of my demeanor. They might think like because I'm like, there's just certain things I don't deal with, and having more boundaries now, some people might look at it and be like, oh, she comes off like this, or she comes off mean, whatever the case might be. But on the inside, you wouldn't know there's a whole princess in there that's being protected by the beast, which I've stated that before. And Jesus points out, he says, you Pharisees are so careful to clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside you are filthy, full of greed and wickedness. This is the main reason why you have to pray for discernment of people. I'm talking about real discernment. Some people would think they have discernment and may not even truly have discernment. It's like if you spend more time with God and in His Word, the discernment will be put on you. You will be able to discern a lot better, and you'll realize like, okay, my discernment, you will see the difference between what it was like beforehand and after. Me, I've always had like discernment, but I always go against it. I always be like, well, maybe it's because of this, that, and the third, and then people end up running over me, doing, betraying me, whatever the case might be. So it's like, okay, that my it was basically me going against my discernment. But when you have true discernment, you will be able to discern people like this. Because there are so many people out here. That's the reason why they talk about the false prophets. There are so many people out here that looks the par. They look so good, but they really are not good on the inside. Like their heart posture is messed up. They're reacting out of trauma. They're wanting you to only listen to everything they say. This, that, and the third. Like they're very hard. They have a very hardened heart, which is what he talks about the Pharaoh having in the book of Exodus. And you just really got to pay attention. And that just stood out to me because it's also been in my head, as I, now I'm being more observant of the who I surround myself with, the things, and, continuing my journey with God and healing journey with God. You really got to be careful. And it's been in my head, like just paying attention to how people might look on the outside might not be what's on the inside. I saw an article about a lady full of tattoos, and there were so many people offended by her in church. And it's like, the very people that's offended by looking at her in church being covered in tattoos and piercings, she is probably the one that has the most genuine heart out of all of them. Because if they had a genuine heart, they wouldn't be sitting there looking at her, offended by her and everything that she may have done in the past. Those tattoos just display her past. They don't display what she is on the inside. On the inside, her cup is probably sparkling. Whereas the other ones that look the par probably got a whole bunch of gunk in that whole cup. So I say all this to say, really be careful and pay attention to people that seem to look the part. Me, I'm going to come as I am. That's another reason I love our church. You can go as you are. If I choose, if today was Sunday and I got up in my pajamas and went to church, then people still going to love on me just the same. So why? Because they see what's in here. They're not looking at the exterior. Oh, her demeanor, she comes off like this, that, and the third. Whereas if you get to know me, you will realize, like, okay, this is just that's just her protecting her boundaries. That's me protecting my boundaries. And I tend to just walk away from anything that takes me back to a trauma spot that I'm healing from. So, yeah, pay attention to people, because there's a lot of people out here that want to look like a healthy Christian, but they're really not a healthy Christian. They're really poisonous on the inside. So be careful of that. These people can look like always wanting things to be perfect. They don't want nobody to know this or know that or whatever, versus just coming completely as they are. And they sometimes they also tend to water like the bad. Like, if you know, kind of like, okay, for an example, which I've seen this, like, you water situations. It's like you want to give off good to people, but you water things that really aren't good. Like, you water trauma, you water people that only agree with you, you only stick to the things that you deem as worthy. You get what I'm saying? And then you kind of put everything else down if they don't agree with you, or if they feel like you tend to cut things off like that. So those type of people only want to see with binders on. They only want to see their way, and that's it. That's exactly how those can look as well. So just be careful, y'all. Be careful. Pay attention to your cup. When you're dealing with someone, like Jesus said, you're quick to clean the outside of the cup because you want it to look good, but the inside is not good. Pay attention to people like that. That's just what I take away from today. And it's funny that it was in Luke today, because that's been in my head about being more observant of the heart posture of people and paying more attention to the heart posture. So hope that helps you. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. And read your Bibles.